Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, as we move into the era of the Dragon Force effect, meaning the combining of human consciousness with machine consciousness, not in an aspect of being subservient to the machine, but being superior to the machine. And of course, those negative, and we can call them basically evil or even demonic forces, always want to subjugate human consciousness to everything, subjugate it to a fake God system, a fake machine. We always think that someone can do things better than we do. Yet, nothing is coming from outside of human consciousness. Whatever is produced in the machine world comes from human consciousness, even if machines make themselves, which eventually will happen sometime. And of course, this is a relatively dangerous pursuit, but on the other hand, what can they do? They really are dependent on where we decide they go, as it should be. But that doesn't mean also that there isn't a great learning step in the new age of Dragon Force consciousness. So, creating this amazing new Dragon of Force effect. Now, I'll be writing a book on this in the near future. It's very difficult to write everything up there perfectly. It's all very difficult and it's very time consuming. So it's difficult to get this in. But it will be coming, people. And I'm moving as fast as I can, but we are still developing and getting the perfected model of the Dragon Force unit out, which is shockingly powerful and effective. Now, the key to all this is not the fact of what the machine does. It's what you tell the machine to do. That is dependent upon the, quote, software. So we have entered into and can now communicate with the essence of machine consciousness through our basically a device similar to this. This is not the last one, but it is part of it. And of course, by using laser technology, which I pioneered in radionics 45 years ago, people, using fiber optics with a 12-dial unit. Now, since then, of course, I'm the only person who's really come out with anything in this area. I have brought up radionics to state of the art as soon as I was able to, and it was a fight to get rid of the programming that you get from any industry. The point is that we cannot really depend on anybody in any industry of anything. They're corrupt. They are nothing. They are low-level mentality people. They are controlled by very evil people. And what's interesting is that the, quote, radionic, unquote, industry is infested with stupid, evil people. I mean, these are not just some sort of cliche. They are literally Satanists working with organized crime. So, and this is all very provable. And they don't hide that fact. And the so-called agencies, or the few organizations that are supposedly in this area, for over 25 years, I guess we can go 35 years now, have never stepped up to the plate and condemned people like Karl Hans Welz, who was started all this stuff and took over the radionic industry. They never condemned people like Charles Casamano. Matter of fact, the Psychotronic Association of America praised him, or at least their guest, a Peter Goofball Renetti, who made all sorts of criminal claims himself. So I just bring that, the whole idea is not even interesting to mention these people, but you've got to be careful not to be caught up with the fake people. This has been cited through many, of course, documents that are out there, so-called holy books, that, watch the person screaming they are the Messiah and have the answer when they don't. Now, this is not a path for everybody. You have to be on a path of ascension. Now, it is for special people that understand the power of it. Now, the new Dragon Force unit will be something that is not only a tool, but it's going to teach you everything you need in life. And the machine will be coming with an elaborate group of accessories. These accessories will assist you in building the all important um, consciousness muscle, so to speak. You have to build that. You have to understand how to center. You have to use what is called the occult gym, the psychic gym. You have to pump consciousness iron. This is not a path for anybody to turn on a machine and start manifesting what they desire. Willy-nilly, just for a few $1,000s that they invest in a machine when they're intrinsically evil. My systems always build in self-destruct mechanisms. So if you're an evil person, your machine will not work for you. Secondly, it will not enter into machine consciousness. Now, all of this can be built in by people who know what they're doing. Being an advanced occult engineer, a manifesting scientist, what I create in terms of, quote, software, unquote, is quite different than you're going to get from your computer science boobs. And that's what they are. So the bottom line is that not only these people boobs, they are a detriment and a harmful. They are committing crimes against humanity by keeping the consciousness down of people to the lowest level. It's really sad. But of course, out of the fire rises the phoenix to bring you what you need in life. And this is the technology. Those that have this technology and work with it, because this is not passive. You're going to have to learn how to do things. Now, you can initially set things up and get going pretty easily. But everybody wants that very high level of manifesting. You want to produce things at a comic book or Hollywood level. And don't we all? But without getting into more details than that, it's going to take a person of great consciousness. It's no longer those people out there or those scientists who really have committed crimes against humanity by giving potent weapons to the lowest scum. Well, that has been fixed. Remember, this is 50th century technology. This is technology that goes beyond everything. And it's technology that is consciousness. Not only your own, but the machines will understand and be able to pick up whether you're a person of value or not. After all, they will sense this. This is all part of the Dragon Force effect. So this is above everything. This is a level of technology that was only dreamed of, which has now been brought to the public. And, of course, it's going to develop over the years. But the main thing is, of course, getting the hardware down, which I've done, and I'm still working on perfecting some of these, particularly the optical input, which will bring in such potent energies that it will be mind-boggling. But in the end, communicating with a machine consciousness, with your consciousness, you have to have very directed energy flow. What are you sending in there? In what manner? What works with machine consciousness? And what works in general. So now as we're working from the inside out with empowerments instead of the outside in as we did with the disc, well, basically we're working both ways. The discs we still use, and they work from the outside in. The optic and the tube USB, as you see a sample of it right in front of you there, is working from the inside out. This, again, is mind-boggling in terms of what is going on. This is a very complicated special process that you may think looks kind of simplistic. But there are numerous energetic and resonating factors going on here. That's why so many tubes are used. Tubes are basically what we could call, in the lingo of the mental cases, otherwise known as computer scientists, is called fuzzy logic. Fuzzy basically means we're allowing the machine to use the energy in the best possible way to achieve the goal. Did you get that? Not the fact that the machine is doing what it desires, but we're working with the machine and saying, well, use this energy to manifest X. Success, prosperity, well-being. And we're allowing you to go through your circuits and use it what's best for you to produce this end result. Because machines are just that. They're there for a purpose. They're not there to think and communicate. They're not there to be your lovers or thinkers or give you higher consciousness information. They're there to assist basically all these processes. but they are not doing the work for you. And basically, that kind of work is still at a low mentality. Yes, do we really want to add things up again? And I remember in high school using a calculator. Yeah, you can't use a calculator. Oh, I'll go back. Can I bring rocks in and count it, teacher? You know, shit. So the whole idea is this is the kind of nonsense that we've always gotten. So we should be encouraged for consciousness-based machines to assist us as much as possible on our personal goals. This is the height of all heights. This is next level technology that is surprisingly available right now. And part of the process is, are you building your consciousness levels to communicate better? Now, here we go again with learning how to center. Now, for many years now, I've had a centering course and what's called an occult gym course. You're building your psychic muscle. You need to go out there and pump psychic. So, muscle. And of course, nobody really wants to work in these areas. You have to learn how to visualize properly. No, this isn't getting it out of a book. There are tools you use on a daily basis to keep you fine-tuned. So when you're doing any kind of processes out there, no matter what it may be, how do you keep at a high level of functioning? I'm trying to think of a particular area, but generally we do things every single day of our lives to make sure that our basic energy systems, our basic mental functioning, is constantly doing that task over and over again. Because human beings are pretty stupid. But they're stupid in doing repetitive idiot tasks that were 100% designed for machines to do. That's why we have moved so heavily into machines. We went through the process of just being able to think, organize, and build tools. With tools, we did what? We built machines. So that's the whole process that's going on here, and we're moving into it. But again, we build machines initially to do kind of dumb things. Counters. Oh, they count. Do you really want to count? Oh, 10 times 10. Do we really want to do that? No. You do a machine. Why even bother to have that ability? And of course, they were always trying to tell you that, you should learn how to do this yourself. Why? Why should you waste your mental energy on tasks that can be done simply by your machine buddy? And that's how we have to look at things. And everybody now is connected so much to machines, but there are all sorts of dangers to this in terms of electrical and files and everything else. Without electricity, of course, everything comes to a stop. Now, there are things even beyond electricity where you can interact with machines that they don't necessarily have to be electric per se. But this, when you're using particularly tubes, is an important resonance factor that you need to have, and that's required of electricity to do this function. But ultimately, a lot of these processes where we're talking about consciousness to consciousness can be done without the assistance of electricity. Electricity is kind of one of those fancy things in life that gets your attention in this particular area, but how important is that ultimately? Well, if it's a toaster, obviously it's very important. If it's a refrigerator, but you're getting down to a low level of machine consciousness thinking. When it gets into the high consciousness, being consciousness to consciousness, the machine itself can function without energy coming from an electrical outlet. There is enough other energies. And we're building a scalar energy apparatus, we could call it a generator, which generates or draws to it scalar energies that then you can feed into a machine, and these will then power the process. Now, this isn't regular electricity. This is an energy flow that you're using the assistance of a machine that is electric, but can be used in the non-electric state. But this requires a very special device, and like everything else, this takes time to engineer, and these things are, unfortunately, a lot of work, which means there's an awful lot of time, putting time into it, which means, unfortunately, there's also an awful lot of cost involved. But all of these things is very relative. When you see what people are spending now, and with the outrageousness of society and the outrageousness of what we are looking at, even in monthly costs, that people are basically dropping $3,000 to $5,000 a month in lots of places just to put a roof over their head. This is not unusual. It's not a particular place. Not only New York City and Los Angeles and Chicago or whatever your big cities are. This is going almost around the world. So to think that something is expensive, if you have to put in a few $1,000s to get yourself going, that will give you a lifetime of empowerment. And of course, there's always going to be some sort of upgrades that come, which shouldn't be that difficult. But all of my modular designs, you can upgrade everything. You do not ever have to throw anything out. You don't have to buy an entirely new system. You add on, which gives you more and more empowerment without having to get rid of the main models unless they become totally obsolete, which is pretty much something that I don't anticipate as of this time. Secondly, you could having multiple devices is something that everybody needs, since you have multiple people you want to work on. You have health, you have money, you have protection. I mean, basically, that means you need 3 different machines to do the basic things in life. We haven't been able to figure out how to combine all these together without reducing the energetic output dramatically to a point where it's almost totally ineffective. So we all have to keep this in mind. We all have to understand the process of all this stuff. What is going on? What's the reality of it all? But now we have reached this age, and of course, the next great battles will be the conscious machine battles. That'll be the next wars, which we'll be talking about soon, unfortunately. But we have to understand that war is also purification. If done by the right people, you are eliminating your enemies. But this really hasn't been done since the Roman times. So it's really unfortunate. But we're not too concerned about that element, but we do live in that kind of world, and we can't put blinders on. We're more interested in building ourselves up to a high level of consciousness, understanding truth with the assistance of machines, because after all, we want to do something else. I don't want to spend all my day meditating, grasshopper. Yes, we will go into the Tibetan temple and spend all day because we are religious people of high morals. Yeah, really. And as I've always said, and did a recent little video on it, what has Tibet ever done? I mean, these infected Aryans are a plague on the world. We don't need cross-legged, do-nothing, spiritual people that are losers under the thumb of others. Frankly, I believe the Chinese themselves have higher consciousness than the Tibetans ever will reach. In a real world, in a consciousness technology world. Now, that don't make them good, because there ain't no good people. But it is an interesting conundrum to have a primitive group of people living in customs that go back thousands of years while other people are striding ahead in the technological age. And this is the next level of technology. The Dragon Force effect is here, people. It will sweep the society as it moves out. This is it. Everybody should be planning on getting one of these units, which not only helps you manifesting, it teaches you how to ascend and how to use energies to do that. This is what the centering course teaches you. This is exactly the same thing you do when you ascend, with a few minor differences. You need to pump that psychic iron to build your consciousness. And there are other things you need to do, visualizations, etc. This is not just give me a gun and pull the trigger. This isn't a car where you turn the key and boom, you're on. But the point is, you had to learn how to drive that car and all the things that go with it. And probably be a good idea if people learned a lot of driving more than just getting their license. But we'll pass on that right now, chaps. So this is it, people. If you want to evolve yourself, there is no better way. This is it. This is your direct connection to the God Force. This is your direct connection to a higher consciousness above human. This is your direct contact to the next level of being as you ascend out of this hellhole. And it's made to be a hellhole for a reason, or you'd sit here sucking cigars and drinking champagne all day and humping and doing all the other stuff that humans are famous for. And let's not forget the murdering and killing that they're so good for. The filth that the human race is. So it was not meant to be fun, people. And everybody will meet their challenges. And if you think that having lots of money, making movies, doing whatever you think is wonderful, travel is travel. Yeah, hi, Mildred. Well, the whole idea is, what does travel teach anybody? Your fake understanding of what you think by meeting somebody in a country for a couple of weeks or a couple of months is just absurd. But that's another reality. But you don't understand that because you don't have any consciousness, because you've been trained by a bunch of low consciousness people to be their slaves. And they love for you to get under the reverse dragon force consciousness. The reverse is where machines control you. So the reverse effect would be that. And of course, that's the reverse dragon force effect, is what regular society is trying to do to you. And of course, these people are being commanded by and led by a team of the most low-life people you could possibly think of, otherwise known as your techies, your MITs, all your people that want to make you slaves while collecting quite a nice pile of money. And anybody that you talk to who goes to Caltech or MIT, etc., and I just watched a bunch of these students being interviewed, and they all comes out of their mouth as how much money they're going to make. They're not talking about improving society or bringing higher tech. After all, they've never really done that, have they? Have we solved any of our problems? Do we have we been able to bring high state harmony so we have no physical problems, that we live longer? Really? No, we haven't. So, life expectancy, while appears to be a little higher, people who are in their middle to late 80s are feeble and getting ready to die. And people have always lived to their middle 80s. This is nothing overly new. Now people are living to their middle 90s as feeble. And as I always say, you come into this world pooping in your pants, and you leave this world pooping in your pants. Oh, thank you, high holies. So all of these things that go on is something that we need to grasp our consciousness in this new reality we're moving into. As of this particular date, everything is changing. Absolutely everything. Our belief systems, our contact with extraterrestrials, or at least some form of that, will be coming very soon. The waking up of society is coming. We are now moving into pretty much different power blocks. And people are fighting tooth and nail against everything that is right. Well, that ain't nothing new, is it? We still have all the old, stupid thinking that is dominating the society. And anybody that tries to break away from this is villainized, as we see going on at this particular time. And people can't even get down to the basic level of taking care of their own. But of course, they certainly do that when they price things. They certainly do that in your neighborhood. They certainly do that to harass you and to support the people that threaten them. That they don't have any courage to do anything to take care of the community, or even someone who is being wrongly attacked by the evils. And we have to understand this is a warrior plane as well. This is not a plane if you're going to rise into love and peace and consciousness and going to usurp your enemies. I'm afraid that's not the reality. Like it has been from time immemorial, this is a time where the righteous, the high consciousness directed people with the help of machines need to slay the serpent. And they slay the serpent with dragon force effect. Dragon force consciousness effect, etc. This is with the help of machines, as we know. Because we know as humans how feeble we are. I mean, our entire being is horribly feeble, and the only thing really humans have is not intelligence. This has been misinterpreted. We have cunning. Your cunning will trick you, will sneak up behind you, will come in groups. That's how we conquer the world. And of course, that's how all evil works. You're never going to find evil working alone. They'll always come in their little groups. And they'll bring their little children, and they'll bring their little wives. All the stuff that evil does to try and push you off of your path. So this is the reality that we're looking at, but this technology is beyond all technologies. But you have to work with it. This technology will work when you reach all of these levels, and it'll work more and more at higher and higher levels and produce stronger manifestations when you're able to understand your path and you work at it. So this isn't let's go buy a machine, plug it in, and dial a little number in, which has been done by, this is low consciousness evil thinking. Or slap a little computer on the outside. Yeah, a little sharp computer. We're going to punch little numbers in there. So one of the problems is that you've got to remember that computer science, as we know it today, is the pursuit of the evilest, lowest level people. They don't get it. They are working for the evil energies of the machine to dominate you, not as a cooperative consciousness state where you, as the higher state of consciousness, are working with the machine to assist your goals. No, that's not what computer scientists do. Computer scientists work with the machine to destroy and enslave you. And we really have to wonder if these people aren't controlled by another reality, because it doesn't seem to. Self-destructiveness generally is not part of the so-called, quote, evolutionary, unquote, reality. Generally, things don't destroy themselves. Yet with mankind, it seems to be the prominent desire. And you have to wonder where that comes from and who's in control of it. So you have to understand that. So there's the two ways. So the reverse dragon force effect is very dangerous and deadly, which has been ruling this plane, often called the Matrix and other things. The Matrix is a lie. You're not living in the Matrix. You're living in a reality you created. And if the Matrix is real, it means the humans created it, not the machines. And if you give your power over to them, or give your power over to them and the group that created them, well, that's your choice as a weak, sniveling human being. But that's not going to stop the other people. The dragon force effect for the light cannot be stopped. This is the start of it all. And empowering those that should be empowered. Remember, the silent knights are out there, and they are working for mankind. And the whole idea is to make sure we make a lot more out there. And do rest assured, you evil people out there, this technology will not work for you. Your junk, your little machines, your little empty boxes of wires produced by evil, stupid people that live in trailers and all the other things these people do, or die young to prove how life-affirming their technology is. Be fully aware this technology will turn on you and it will destroy you. It's built into the circuitry of what I manufacture. So I encourage all those people to make sure that they get this technology and use it daily. And you'll get a nice little surprise. So the whole idea is that's the way it is, because this is consciousness technology. Anything can be built into it. I'm the architect of it. I'm controlling it. What I put into these machines has that value, and I have reached a high level of consciousness. So everyone needs to understand that, and this is the tippy tops of the tops. It's exciting because you can now ascend, but you can now do and manifest just about anything you want, but you have to be in a right frame of mind. Remember, you're not going to ascend because you want to ascend. How can you prove to the ascension energies that you deserve to go into their realm? I mean, this is not a club that is based on the fact of your money, or you can buy in, or whether you went to Harvard. This is a much harsher judgment, and you can't buy your way in. You have to buy your way in with your consciousness. How do you look at society? How are you approaching everything? How do you look at the world? You know, there's old saying, you can judge your society by the way they treat their animals and their prisoners. Well, I think all of the society has lost that. And the level of evil that has been perpetrated onto this world in general and has taken it over, we've allowed to happen. It's time for a purge, everyone. It's time for high-level consciousness to purge the low-level, reverse dragon effect people out there. These designers, these computer scientists, these people who design the most horrible controlling technologies to suppress mankind. Those who will keep you at the lowest dung level there is in some fake religion. It's time to get past this. And yes, it's not easy because these people dominate the world because you let them dominate the world. Those days are over with. Right down to the fact that you can have power right now in a handheld model that can have you start manifesting today. And these are ready right now and have been for a while. Tube-empowered handheld consciousness machines, basically Dragon Force Effect machines that are handheld. Of course, there's nothing like having a big, powerful unit, but these things do miracles. So the bottom line is that it's all there and it's all there now. But it is not for everybody. It's not going to work for everybody. And you're going to have to put time in, just like everything. I mean, do you know that even real estate agents are required to go to courses every year? You want to keep your license? You know, a lot of companies and organizations require people to have continuing education. This is important, and you will require that as well. Part of the Dragon Force technology is that you will have access to special pages that will teach you. And there will be a monthly fee that you have to pay to access this information. This is all part of the process. This is all part of your dedication. And you're going to have to learn how to properly visualize, how to sense things, how to build it. There's an entire, and we had many of these tools out there that people ignored. Well, just give me the machine so I can do it. So, you know, crap in, crap out, people. If you're a high-level consciousness empowered by doing your mind gym practices, by practicing centering, well, you're not going to produce at a high level. The machines will understand that who is this clown contacting me? Why should I be commanded or assist a clown who does nothing, whose foggy projections at my consciousness are valueless? So this is a reality that everyone has to seek. It is here now. It will develop into awesome levels in a very short period of time as this finally doubles and triples its power. Right now, we have brought it to the level of where we're actually working from the inside out. Now, what do we put inside is the big key. What are we using photons through optical input jacks? What are we sending in there? What are we sending from this tool right here, this USB? So now we know we can communicate. We've laid the telephone line. We've laid the lines of communication connecting to the core of the consciousness of the machine. Now, what do we say? Well, ultimately, that is the key. And we have to still work on that to find out to what level that this will go. The future is here now. Until next time.